For those of you wondering about the steering wheel on the Audi S3, this here, that's your airbag. Now your airbag is released through these holes. You don't need to remove the cowling, which I've seen in a few videos. You don't have to do that at all. What you need to do is turn your ignition on. Now, I've locked the wheel out because it holds it in the perfect place. So, ignition on, your wheel can move. Now, the battery is already disconnected because you will have to wiggle the airbag in order to get it to release. Now, with the battery disconnected, it will make your steering wheel very, very heavy. But turn your ignition on to release the steering lock. Turn it around until you get these two virtually up. When you go just past that point, turn your ignition key off and remove it. You can put it back in now, but it will then, when you let go of the wheel, there, it's locked, so it holds it in place at the top. Now, I've seen people use screwdrivers and bending them and everything else in these videos. I found the easiest thing to use, just one of these little extension bars. You can pick these up for £1 from any cheap shop, basically. Now, the easiest thing I found, this hole here, and there's one on the other side as well. So when you turn your ignition back on after, you will have to turn it around, but get these in the same position, but on this side. Straight up here, this side. Now, from the back, using this end, from the back, put it through, but put it through so it's sticking up on the inside. So don't lift this and put it in. This needs to be down. Now push this in. You'll feel it stop. That's fine when it stops, because basically what you've done then is you've gone to the back of that piece there, which puts you in between this spring. Now going back up to here, what you will then do when it stops is you will lift up here. Now that will push the spring, let's move them cables, that will push this spring inside this hole here, which will cause this one, and on the other side there's two, this one and this one, to release. And I'll show you that now. Now basically, when you've got it in the wheel and it's not up, it's down, you're sitting in that hole. Now when you lift up, that will pull, let's see if I can get my hands out of the way, that will pull this spring down like that. And what that does is release that clip. Now I will point something out, as this one has got two clips on it and this one has got one. So ideally I would say start with this one. Now if you look at my wheel, I turned it back around for this video. Basically this is the position you need it in to start with. The reason why I say that is because on the back of here, this one at the bottom has got two clips that it has to release. It is easier to do that one first, then that one is a lot easier after. Once you've done that, basically as you're trying to get it out, you'll hold it around as much as you can. You'll have to wiggle it a little bit, but try not to push the other side back in. Keep your fingers behind or behind this side, and as you wiggle, it will all of a sudden pop. The easiest thing, like I say, is to use this. The reason being is you can get good leverage on it. You have no problems with it. If you use a thin screwdriver, this is what happens. It just bends all the time. Use something substantial enough to take it. It will be fine. It will go into a big enough hole to do it. It's just got to be able to fit through that hole. And Audi designed these wheels, or Volkswagen Group designed these wheels, because, let me see if I can add some light. You see how it's shaved off just on the inside? That's so you can, when it's in straight and you anchor down, it stops. It will not go further than it needs to. Obviously once you've got the airbag off, you will have disconnection. You'll have to, disconnect points. Now this one sits in here. All you have to do is lift this prong up and pull it out. Now this one, I've pulled it up already, but it sits inside that little groove there, so you can just lift it up. It's only sort of like a bit of rubber foam. I'll put it back in. That's how it sits. But if you obviously pull that up, it will come out. So if you take that out, it makes it easier, because what you have to do then is turn it over and you'll have that little prong on the back. Now you can push that down and pull it out. The easiest way I found was to use a thin screwdriver and slide it. Let me see if I can get a better. Slide it up between the two plugs, twist the screwdriver slightly, not too much because you don't want to break it, but it will lift this little part here up and you'll be able to pull that plug out. Once you've done that, this is released. Now in order to remove the steering wheel itself, you will need one of these. Now in America they call these tri-squares, or M12s as well. We in the UK just call them M12s that I know too. Now they don't have to be anything too special. This is just a US Pro I brought off eBay as a pack of 5 for probably about £10. But this is 12mm. It's an M12. Now that multi-spline bit, which is what the M stands for, will slot into there. And then once you get your bar on this end, obviously lefty loosey, righty tighty, open it up, take the screw out, and you should be able to grab the wheel, wiggle it a little bit if it's a bit stiff. Don't try and force it, like pull it towards you too much, because you will hit yourself in the face. I have seen it on a couple of videos and I have seen people do it in real life. Now if you grab the wheel, wiggle it a little bit as you're pulling towards you, it will release itself and the wheel will be free. Now for video purpose, I'm using obviously the big gun. Make sure it's in release. Do not over tighten this bolt. It is crucial, otherwise you're in a world of trouble. Now just for the video I'm using the gun because it's quite hard to hold the camera and open it up, but that's all it is. And it's released. Now I will point out, if I can get a clear view of it, towards the top of the steering wheel, zoom out a bit, obviously bottom, top, towards the top of the steering wheel. So it doesn't matter which way you leave your steering wheel at all. I've seen people have to turn them and then tell you about this. You don't need to. You have got there we go. You've got just there a small line, and just there. Now these two, I'm pretty sure this wheel is, because I've already released it once, so it should come off. I'll just use my knees. Now them two, when you put it back on, it's crucial that them two stay in line. But when you pull it towards you, wheel comes off. At that point you can access everything you need to on the steering wheel. All your cables are on the inside. This bit of plastic around here, all of this can be released. Now most of this, button wise, pulls off. If you want to release any of the other stuff, you may find just in here though, when I say it pulls off, just be careful of these clips. Have a look around. Whatever is connected to the top and goes down, it is all a part of it. Use your eyes. You wouldn't be doing this if you didn't have some faith in your own abilities. You can see them there. Just slightly release them as you pull it up and you'll be able to access your buttons. All your cables run through this here. That white piece is cables, what connects your buttons to each other. And that's it. Easiest way to remove the steering wheel. I hope that helps some of you, as I've seen quite a few good videos out there with good information, but you do have to search for them, and others, well, they're a bit misguided. So I hope that helps.